Welcome to the latest episode of Innovation Insights. Today we've got Robert Camp, Director of Strategic Innovation from Scown. I'm going to be asking him a whole load of questions around innovation, so hopefully that you guys that are watching it have some takeaways. Robert, pleasure to have you here. I'd really like to start off by asking you a little bit about your career and how it's led you to this role today, where I understand that you're the Director of Strategic Innovation at Scown.
Commercial property solicitor by training, worked in the city, and then really fortunate to have time in Hong Kong and Sydney, back to London and then down to the West Country. I have always liked looking at things outside of the box or the boundaries, thinking about things in a slightly different way. Lots of people, including myself, think I should never have been a lawyer.
And talk to me a little bit about examples of, in your career, pushing those boundaries and seeing rewards from it that's led you to this place where you're actually very confident that you're meant to be in innovation to this day.
Yeah, that's an interesting and tricky question, actually, because I think one of the things I've reflected on when I've looked back is that most of innovation isn't a big bang idea, it's lots of small things. I think I was fortunate enough to work and lead our mining and mineral sector, and that's a very commercial, switched on sector. The clients actually know more about the sector than the lawyers do. So they were always looking for innovative ways in how they structured deals. So I think it started there, thinking from a legal perspective, how can we make this more creative and innovative for the clients? And I suppose my journey to being where we are now is I just started to go on courses and attend events where I just shouldn't have been. So really stretching myself. I love listening to other people's stories. I love listening to other people's ideas. So I just went through this process of anything that I felt might be interested and have value to the business, I thought I'd go. And even though I was mixing with people who were way out of my league, I could always bring some small nugget back.
Brilliant.
And actually, that's something we could use. We could flex a bit and may work with us, even though it may have been a Magic Circle firm who were doing it or non-lawyers. So yeah, it's just always looking for stuff.
So when we've spoken in the past, Robert, you have this really interesting vision of what a law firm should look like, and it's enwrapped around your people and your clients. So how are you achieving this vision?
Yeah, so I wanted to create a different type of law firm, and I wanted to focus on getting the best out of everybody and the whole business, the whole partnership, understanding that everybody had a key part to play in that business, but also that everybody should be allowed to succeed, and if they wanted to change roles or develop themselves, they should be allowed to do that. And that then leads to an engaged staff who give exceptional customer service, client experience, because all the research shows that if you've got a happy workforce, they're going to give a better client experience. So we started on this journey. It took a long time to change the culture, but lots of little things we did. I think the biggest impact we had was when we introduced our positive postcards, which are just very simple. So that was quite innovative, quite new. Well, it was very new for the legal profession. And these are where they're sent internally. Anybody can send them upwards and downwards. And it's just recognising when somebody's done something well. It doesn't have to be exceptional, but it's something that they've done well for the benefit of the business. It can be bringing in a really big new client or just answering a difficult conversation on the phone.
Now, you talk about a John Lewis model. You've got quite a cool name for it, and I'd like you to share what the name of it is, because it's a clever play, and it creates an internal brand that people can relate to and stuff. I think it's quite innovative. Can you talk more about this kind of John Lewis model that you've adopted? Yeah,
so I wanted to engage all the staff and have them benefiting from the profits. So we created an employee ownership scheme, which we named John Lewis through all the process, but once we actually went live with it, we asked our staff what should it be called, and it's called Scownership, which is a play on the Stephen Scown. And the way it works is we set a profit target, and then every pound over that profit is split 50p between the staff through an employee benefit trust and 50p to the partners still. And it's been transformational. It really has been transformational.
What's it done for your attrition and things like productivity?
Yeah.
And I guess anything like health and well-being of the firm, just generally, have you actually seen and been able to measure it in any kind of way?
Yes, we have, and in particular with people who've joined within the last 2 to 3 years. So as I say, actually joined because of who we are. Attrition has gone down dramatically. New recruits at the younger age, so 25 plus, and graduates, they just love it. We've had people applying from all over the country who would never normally have looked at the firm. Wellbeing, we believe that's gone up. All our internal pulse survey shows that. But also it's little things, because they're much more interested in the business now. So from a business point of view, it makes sense as well, because everybody knows that if they can influence the profit, staff are much more engaged in how a business runs.
Now, the firm is extremely collaborative, both internally and externally. Now, for those viewers that don't know, open innovation is about inviting the outside world to help our organisation with their own innovation.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about what collaboration means at Scown and some of these external relationships that you've got that are helping you innovate better?
Yeah, so we're working with Falmouth University on, they've got a Launchpad outreach program which is for postgrads looking to start new businesses and to scale them up over 2 years. And I had a really good session with them a couple of weeks ago with three of their people who came in and just said, what are the issues facing a firm like yours? So we were talking about how a client could have continual access, could actually be much more informed about the process, etc., etc. And they've gone away to think about it. They were quite excited, and if they can come up with a concept that they can then start to develop, we'll work with them on that concept. What's interesting about that is that if they do come up with a concept, it's their IP.
Oh, wow, okay. Fantastic.
We get a period of exclusivity, but then they can scale it as a business and sell it. We also get an opportunity to invest if we wanted to.
Now, being quite a large firm, you're no doubt experiencing challenges most days.
Yep.
Now, not all of them will reach you, no. but the ones that do reach you, Robert, how do you capture them? And then more importantly, how do you harness the brain power of the firm to help you solve them? Yeah,
that's a really interesting question, Charlie, and I think we're in an interesting space on that because of the Scownership and the empowerment. We are now creating and generating lots of ideas across the business, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the one hand, but people who have ideas get disillusioned very easily if those ideas are not listened to. And there's a lot of education about how you listen to and then feedback and actually say, we're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, we're still in a bit of that vacuum, and it is a dangerous space, which I recognise, where ideas are being generated, and we're struggling to actually assimilate them, refine them, and then report on where we go. And if we say yes, how we then monitor progress. So looking at various options outside of legal about where we could use a tool that would help us in that process, which I think is going to be key to making this really embedded within the business.
Robert, so kind of you to come over to London and to join us to talk about what innovation means to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Pleasure.